Hi everyone, I hope all are doing good. So, in this session, we will continue the topic that is post and core. In the last class, I have explained about the definition of post and core, indications as well as the contraindications of post and core, the need for post and core, the treatment planning required for post and core. Then we move to the classifications. What do you mean by prefabricated and custom made post and core? That I think all of you understood because it is very simple. Then we discussed about active and passive post. Those who didn't understand about active and passive post, I'll explain about it in this session in following slides. So let us continue the classification depending upon the materials used. There are so many materials available in market in manufacturing of post and core. Some of the materials are given below. They are metals. In metals, they use stainless steel, platinum, gold, palladium, alloys, titanium, nickel chromium, and cobalt chromium. All these metals are used currently. Then carbon fiber. It is having a historical value because it's not used nowadays because of its anesthetic appearance as well as strength properties. It lack strength. It can easily break. So the use of carbon fiber is being discontinued nowadays. Then fiber reinforced composite is the post which is currently widely used because of its aesthetic properties as well as strength properties. It is good in both. Then ceramic post is another one. Then we use this zirconia post, which is a recent one nowadays. Then depending upon the shape, mainly there are two shapes. They are parallel and tapered. As you can see in the picture, this is a parallel post and this is a tapered one. And we use a combination of both also nowadays, as parallel one with the main body and the apex part will be tapered. That is also should be included in the classification. Then depending upon the surface, mainly there are three surfaces. They are smooth, serrated and threaded, as you can see here. Smooth one will be having a plain surface without any surface irregularities. Then the serrated one will have serrations on it so that it improves the mechanical interlocking of post as well as with the luting cement. Then this is an example for threaded one in which threads are there. As you have threads, as you all familiar with threads in the screws for household stuffs. So this may misguide you, giving an impression that this has to be threaded or stuck into the post base as you stuck a screw with a rotational forces. It is not like that. You don't have to do such things. You are not supposed to tighten your post into the post base by any means. Your post has to be passively fit. That means you should be able to place the post into the post base and the same time you should be able to retrieve it easily without any pressure. So your post should go easily and come out easily. You can fix the post with the help of a luting cement. It could be either GIC or resin cement, whatever it is. You should be able to fix it only with the help of those luting agents. These surface irregularities or surface modifications will help the post to lute in that area, to adhere to that area with the help of mechanical bonding. It is only for that purpose. Please keep this in your mind. Now coming to the ideal properties of post. What are the ideal requirements or properties of a given post? It should replace lost dental volume. What do you mean by lost dental volume? What do you mean by that? In most of the cases for root canal treatment, in almost 70% of the cases will be due to extensive caries which may or may not involve pulp. So as there is an extensive caries which involve so much of dental volume, so that much dental volume will be lost when they perform root canal treatment, and post placement will be after that. So the post what you are giving should replace that particular lost dental volume. Then it should have a pleasing aesthetics. What do you mean by pleasing aesthetics? When you give a post to a patient who is aesthetically concerned, or when you give a post in a tooth which is aesthetic, which is in the aesthetic zone, you are supposed to give a post which is aesthetic. Now I told so many materials which are aesthetic as well as non-aesthetic. All the metal posts are non-aesthetic. So which are the aesthetic posts which I mentioned? They are fiber reinforced, then ceramic, then zirconia post. All these are aesthetic posts. So if you are giving a post in an aesthetic zone or a aesthetically concerned patient, the post of selection should be an aesthetic one. Then the post what you give should be radio opaque. Why it should be radio opaque? What is the relevance? When you give a post, you are kind of blind. You don't know till where the post went, or is there any perforations. All these things you need to clarify, or you need to find out before cementing a post. So for that, after the post paste preparation, you can keep the post inside and take an IOPA. That IOPA will tell you where your post exactly is. So you can even appreciate the presence of gutta percha which is remaining on the apex in order to keep the apical seal. So even you can see that also. And one more thing, after the cementation of your post, that work is like your signature. You are signed here, because as your post will be radio opaque. If something happens, if the patient is having some pain or something, the patient can go to any dentist, and the first thing what they will do will be they will make an IOPA of that particular tooth to see about the problems. So your post what you have given, what you have fixed, they can easily figure out. So when you do something wrong in post placement, remember it is your signature. You should handle with it. You are not supposed to leave the patient just like that, because the patient is having your work, your signature, which is very evident. The patient can sue you very easily. Remember this in your mind. Always keep this carefully. Before doing a post case, make sure you do all the necessary arrangements. You do all the necessary checkups. Only attempt that procedure when you are confident about it. The moment you lack in confidence, when you feel a lack in confidence, you can send the patient to another professional. That is okay. But after doing some blunders, when you send the patient to some other clinic, the patient is carrying your signature which can defame you. The patient can easily sue you in any court. So please keep that in mind carefully. Then retrievability. It is very difficult to retrieve a post. If it is a metal post, then it's kind of impossible to retrieve it, even though retrievability is an ideal property of a post. I have retrieved a fiber reinforced composite post. That was because that crown along with the post broke. Then I used a piezo rimmer into the post base so that it crushed the post and took it out. So in my experience, we can do it, you can retrieve it. You can't actually retrieve it, you can actually break it and you can recreate the post base what was there, and you can give a metal post. But remember, if you are not sure about something in post and core, don't give metal post and core, because once you cemented metal post, it's kind of impossible to retrieve it by any means. If you try to take it out by pulling it, it may end up in extraction of that particular tooth. So if you are in doubtful situation, always go for a fiber reinforced fiber reinforced post. So that is about the retrievability. Now, biocompatibility is one of the main criteria for any material which we use in our mouth. So that is understandable. Now, coming to the factors influencing post selection. What are the factors? There are so many factors which influence your post selection. When a patient comes to your clinic, the first thing what you have to decide will be whether you have to go for a custom made post or a prefabricated one. These two are the main things you should first think about. I have shown in the first slide the condition, clinical scenario where we use a custom made post. It is due to the lost dental volume, the increased amount of lost dental volume. If the coronal structure was lost too much, then there is only one solution, that is cast post, that is custom made post. If you go for a prefabricated post in that scenario, your prognosis for that particular tooth will be questionable. So never go for that. So the disadvantage of cast post is that the patient has to come for treatment one more appointment, one more time, because once the patient comes to you to get a post or to replace a tooth, to replace a crown, whatever it is, if you are prescribing for cast post, you have to create a post space, you have to make impression of that post space, and you have to leave the patient, because the post will be fabricated by the technician in the lab and send it to you. It may take 2 or 3 days. So that time, that 2 or 3 days, the patient has to walk around with that lost crown or tooth, crown structure or tooth, whatever it is. So if patient is convinced, you can explain the patient, in this scenario, this is the better one. Cast post is the better option than prefabricated one. But for getting cast post, you have to come to the clinic once more and you have to walk around 2 or 3 days without a crown. If the patient is willing for that, that is the best scenario what you can do. If the patient is not willing for that, if the patient is aesthetically concerned, then what you can do is you can make the patient write a concern, like the patient visited the clinic so and so, and you have explained the merits and demerits of cast post as well as prefabricated post, and in this case cast post is the best option. But as the patient is insisting for prefabricated one due to their personal reasons, you are continuing the treatment, and all the responsibilities will be given to the patient, will be with the patient, and you should make the patient write in patient's own words and get it signed by the patient before starting any treatment. So that is about cast post and prefabricated post. Now, amount of coronal tooth structure, that is another criteria to select whether to do post and core or leave the tooth just like that. The previous one what I told was whether to decide between prefabricated and custom made post. Amount of coronal tooth structure is a criteria to decide whether to attempt that post and core or not. If the coronal tooth structure is less than 1.5 millimeter coronally, if the tooth structure is lesser than that, then it's better just to leave the tooth just like that, and that tooth is indicated for extraction, because the prognosis will be poor when you attempt a post and core on that particular tooth. Either it will be poor or questionable. So it's not advisable to proceed the treatment just like that, because there is something called ferrule effect. There should be some amount of tooth which should be acting like a band of tooth structure on which the crown has to be seated or cemented. So that will improve the strength and longevity of the restoration or crown. So at least 1.5 millimeter should be there to proceed with the post and core treatment. Please keep this in mind. Now coming to tooth anatomy. Whenever you get a tooth for post and core, it is compulsory to ask the patient to get an IOPA of that particular tooth. You should thoroughly examine the root anatomy of that particular tooth, because if the roots are curved, there is a root curvature, or if the roots are shorter than what you imagined, in such cases you won't be able to give post and core successfully. Such cases it's better to avoid post and core, because you cannot give a curved post and core. Then you should see where the tooth is located, because in cases where molars, if the roots are narrow, or some roots may be narrow or curved, it's always better to avoid such tooth, because it can cause either perforation on the apex or perforations laterally. Both will cause in the failure for post and core. Then in maxillary molar, you are supposed to give post on the longest and broadest root, that is palatal one. And in case of mandibular molar, you are supposed to give post in the distal roots, which are longer and broader. So when you give post in any other tooth other than this maxillary, palatal, mandibular, distal, if you give post paste in any other root canals, it can lead to perforations very easily, because there will be curvature for that particular root canal, as well as the length of those roots will be smaller. So it's always make sure to give post in this particular canals. Now coming to the root length. I told you guys before itself, you are supposed to keep 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 millimeter of gutta percha on the apex. Rest whatever length you can find there, that should be covered with post. So the post length has to be that much. Whenever you can increase the length, that is always beneficial for your treatment, for the prognosis of your treatment. How much ever long it is always better. But in case of width, you are not supposed to increase width too much in order to get a better prognosis, because when you increase the width, that means you are taking out so much of root portion from the tooth. It will eventually weaken the tooth. So you are supposed to give a post of 1/3 diameter of that particular root. For example, if the particular root is having a diameter of 6 millimeter, you can give a post up to 2 millimeter. only 1/3. If you give a post of 4 millimeter diameter in a root of 6 millimeter, that means you are taking out so much root portion from that by creating that post space there. That will weaken the root walls of that particular tooth, which will lead to fracture of that root. So you will be contradicting your purpose. Means when you are giving post and core, your intention will be improved strength of that particular tooth. But when you do so, when you increase the width or diameter of post, you will be weakening the tooth. So you should not do that. This I explained. The length should be at least 3 mm. Gataparcha should be there. Rest, whatever length you will get, you are supposed to create a post space. You should not shorten your post. When you shorten your post, in this case, you can appreciate a short post here. This is an ideal one. 3 to 5 millimeter, 3 to 4 millimeter gataparcha remains here for apical seal, and rest all this area covered by post. That is an ideal one. And in this case, they have given a post till here. There is so much amount of gataparcha. What happens here is, if there is an off axial force like this, as you can see in this arrow mark on the particular crown, that force will be transferred to this post through this core. So the stresses will be distributed over a smaller surface area. Only a few surface area is here in order to dissipate that forces, that lateral forces. As the area for dissipating force is smaller, the chances of radicular fracture will be more. The tooth root may fracture in this area very easily, which can lead to failure for your treatment. So never give a short post. Now coming to post diameter, which I already mentioned, you are supposed to give a diameter of 1/3 of root diameter for post. You should not increase it. As I told, for a 6 millimeter diameter root, you are supposed to give a post of 2 millimeter, not more than that, because it will not improve the quality of your treatment. It will reduce the prognosis of your treatment. This I will take in the next class. I hope all of you understood what I told till now. If you have any doubt regarding anything about what I told, please don't hesitate to contact me. So thank you.